Now then, people, good evening. Welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. We've got another edition of The Final Word with some faces new and old. I think they've all appeared at one point in the time. I can't lie to you. We've got Jacob in the house, Lou, Andrea, Jack. Luke's going to be joining us as well shortly. He's just running a little bit late. We're going to be talking about Tottenham and maybe touch on the international break, what we're hoping for on the other side of it. How are we feeling about the season so far? Plenty to get into. I want you to all get your comments in. As you know, as a content creator during the international break, it is rough. It is tough. YouTube killers. So if you can, smash a like on the video and promote it and all that jazz. Yeah, someone's fucking revving a motorcycle out back. Fuck off. Anyway, that's that done. Jack, brother. How have you been? I haven't seen you for a while. You're looking a bit white in the face. It's either I've been taking too many tanners or you're a bit under weather, pal. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm a bit of both. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I also think it's the screen that's the reflection. That's what I'm gonna go for.
Yeah.
I've got two screens, so I think there's just a lot of light on me. But I'm not the brownest of men anyway, am I? In fairness, Joe, I'm quite pale. So.
Yeah. You need to get on nasal tanners like me, mate. You'll be fucking sound, mate. You good though?
Yeah, man. Yeah, good. Yeah, you.
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm tired and my tooth started playing up, to be honest, but we'll get through. Lou, how are you, brother? How's fatherhood? How's life in general, mate? Good?
Yeah, mate. Get loads of sleep now, so yeah, it's good. Yeah, I got back from Leeds last night, actually. The little one kicked up a right stink on the way home, bless him. It's a long journey, but at least we've got loads to be annoyed about anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Luke, thanks for joining us, mate. Better late than never. How you doing, buddy? You all right?
Yeah, just about recovered from weekend, mate, to be fair.
Yeah. Look at Lou chuckling along. Why were you together, boys?
No, I didn't bump into. I was at the game, but I was late getting to Elland Road, and I was straight off afterwards because I had to lift back.
I think I just have an idea of how he probably felt. That's all.
Definitely. Andrea, how's things? Did you enjoy the basketball yesterday, bro?
Yeah, it was a shit game, by the way, but they won, so yeah, good
stuff. Good stuff.
Not a proper entertainment, but at least they got the W. At least.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's about, isn't it, mate, at the end. And last but certainly not least, back for your second time, Jacob. How's tricks? All good?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. To be fair, similar as everyone else. I think a bit tired after the weekend. Been at work this morning, and just back at it.
Yeah. Now we've got what is it? 10 days, I think, before we play again, or maybe even a little bit longer. I'm not too sure. But that's one thing I'm excited about the return, but also very nervous because the next 4 fixtures are Burnley, West Ham, Brighton, and Forest. Them 4 are going to give us a real clue as to where we could end up. I think if we come through that positively, we'll be like, yeah, we're cool. If it goes negatively, then we'll all be asking for the manager to be sacked and we're going to get relegated and that. So you know how it goes, don't you? There's no middle ground. But before we do touch on the future, let's talk about the game. Jack, you would have been at the game. Spurs 2, Leeds United 1. What were your thoughts, mate?
Overall, I've been happy with, apart from Arsenal, every game, to be honest, Joe, and particularly at home. Atmosphere were mint as well on Saturday, despite the weather. I know you two boys got caught in the weather, but I was just slightly out of it, so I wasn't too bad. But I think we're really competitive. Obviously, going a goal down, I actually feared, I said in my video beforehand, if we go a goal down, this is the type of game that I'd sort of fear that it'd be quite hard to get back into, and get your back up. But we just seem to manage to negotiate games quite well, I always find. Again, totally just ignore Arsenal when it was just a thumping. But yeah, to get back into the game, I know Farke got a lot of stick for what he said, saying that we were the better side and stuff. I don't really know what you want him to say in a sense. He's not going on like a big Ange thing where it's like, they're just getting, we're not leaking goals left, right and centre. Tottenham are meant to be a decent side, aren't they? They either are or they aren't. 2-1. I obviously you don't want that result, but deflected goal, I don't know. Calvert-Lewin missed a couple of chances again. It could have been a much different game. So I thought we showed plenty of resilience, looked strong again. Obviously not the result you want, and that's what everybody will sort of hunker down into and say,
I think the way they celebrated at the end tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
As
I see
people
them giving
did,
it like, way, all that sort of jazz, weren't they?
I don't want to be celebration police, like, or they're celebrating like they've won the league, but it was definitely it gave you a good idea that we gave them a proper, you know, we gave them something to worry about for the entire game.
Do people actually think we weren't the better side then?
Spurs
Just
fans.
anything to criticise Farker, let's be honest.
No,
People come up with the, well, we didn't get 3 points, don't they? So it doesn't matter, does it? Everybody goes down, no, it doesn't matter about the performance. It's just the point. And I understand that when you're 15, 20 games in. But at the moment, against teams like Spurs, we need to be turning up and playing well, don't we? As well as trying to pick points up in the meantime. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I thought we were far better than the Spurs. I mean, they capitalised on arguably 2 chances that probably go in 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10 sometimes.
I even think with the Goodmanson one as well, we were unlucky really because it just bounced and fell for Kudus favourably. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very unlucky recently. Honestly,
Yeah.
like Jack said, you know, apart from the Arsenal game, I think in every game we were toe to toe with the opponent. And again, you know, against Bournemouth, one mistake, we were the better side. That mistake, it cost us, you know, that distraction. Again, against Tottenham, they had 2 deflected goals, but honestly, I think we get them a proper test, you know. And I also saw, you see usually a lot of Leeds fans, you know, when we lose, try to, you know, justify the loss in a way that harms Farke actually. You know me, I don't really look to like a lot at the stats, but even the stats today after the match, if you look at them, show that Leeds were the better side for me, honestly. But you know, there were also neutrals, you know, saying that Elland Road is going to be a proper test for everyone.
Yeah,
neutrals watching the game, so that's a good service for us, honestly. To be fair, good testament.
Go on, Lou.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about this. Like, I think it's a bit of a stupid stat, really. The whole Leeds unbeaten in 380 odd days or whatever it was. It's like that's 2 championship seasons plus Everton and Newcastle and Bournemouth. You know, we've done well to stay unbeaten, but Spurs is the first, you know, supposedly good team. I don't think they were that great. I think Kudus, without him, Leeds probably win or get at least a point from that game. He was the difference, and that probably showed in his goal and assist. But my point is more about comparison of obviously 2 completely different squads, but our approach in the Premier League. So the last time we were in the Premier League, it didn't feel we were entirely beatable at Elland Road. It wasn't at least we've got our home form and we've got that to rest on. We actually have that this time, and we'll give everyone a game at Elland Road, and we will pick up points there. And that's why Leeds fans are banging on about the performances, because we weren't getting those performances last time in the Premier League, and it is about survival. And this is exactly what you want to see from a team. It's like our team, and it is disappointing, obviously. But I would much rather be in those games. Leeds could have rolled over at 2-1, and it could have easily been 3-1, 4-1. But I don't think this team's like that, and we've got to be realistic. I definitely wasn't realistic last time we were in the Premier League. I was.
Neither.
It was a few years ago. You know, maybe I was a bit younger, a bit more naive. But I'm like, this is my team, Leeds United. We can beat everyone. We can beat everyone. I don't care who we're playing on the day. And I think that probably helps me take the losses a little bit easier now. Like knowing that we're going to lose a lot of games, it's a lot easier to accept when you're a lot more realistic about it. And that's why Farker talks about the performances. That's why he's talking about the stats, because they're all important. These are the things that make us solid and will ultimately help us survive. So Farker said nothing wrong.
Yeah. Do you know what? You bang on, because I was exactly the same, Lou, and I think it was a lot to do with Bielsa being out of the Prem so long, finishing 9th, and it was like, fuck, yeah. And then having gone down and gone back up, that's why I've said, right, if you give me 17th, I'll fucking take it. I actually think we'll finish higher than that, but it is that difference now mindset going, yeah, look, what did you expect? That's why I found it crazy when after we were battered by Arsenal, people were going, sack him. I was going, we played 2 games, won 1, lost 1. What did you want? Like, it's mad. Jacob, I'll come to you because Andrea touched on some and Luke has as well. A lot of neutrals have said we were the better side. I've been on a few Premier League panel shows today and they have all been saying that. But one thing they have all said, and I think it's something we probably need to discuss, is the fact that we have Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front. He's not having a bad game as such. It's just scoring the goals. And I'm hearing it now in some circles now within the fan base as well of like, is it not just exactly the same as Pat? And I think my concern is long-term. Like someone's put a comment up here, and that's why I just wanted to flash this up as well. It appears that Leeds has become a team that needs 10 chances, before they can score a goal. DCL anyway, but keeping the faith. How are you feeling about that? Because there is shades of Pat about him, I think.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I absolutely love Patrick Bamford. So I'm 21. Patrick Bamford, I saw him score 17 goals in Premier League. Older fans can go Viduka. Patrick Bamford were that for me, and that season
people
was
on
great.
This panel love him. I know for a fact, so don't worry, bro. It's all good.
I absolutely love Patrick Bamford, and I think you can make the comparison with Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin's all-round game, I think, has been brilliant. I just think he needs to start scoring his chances. But if he's not going to do that, then we need to find a way to make other people score. But the issue I have is you only have that outlet in Okafor, really. And you can't just rely on one player to keep you up. You need a few people to get an handful of goals. So it's all right focusing on him. He's obviously getting a lot of chances and he should have scored a few more goals. But actually, we need to find goals elsewhere as well, because even if he gets us 15 goals and no one else scores, we'll still probably get relegated. So I'm impressed by him. I think the chances he had against Bournemouth were maybe better than the ones he had against Tottenham. I think he probably should have scored them. That one where it breaks from Stack, do better. I don't think it were a nailed on goal, but at least get it on target. And that one where Okafor sort of slips him in its second half, I think that's just a good save. He's a bit straight at him, but I think it's easy to criticise him. Leeds fans love to find someone to criticise, and it's either Fark or Cooper or Bamford, or there's always going to be someone, and it's seeming to be him at the moment, or Aronson. But I have no complaints, really. I think he's doing enough, and I think the goals will eventually come.
No, I think that's fair. I want to open it up to everybody else, because Jacob touched on a good point there. Okafor started well. He's got 2 goals so far this season. We know what we're going to get from Brendan. I thought, again, he had another good performance, but are we going to get output in terms of goals? Probably not. Luke, you're shaking your head there. I know we've started scoring goals, and a few weeks ago we never thought we'd score a goal again. But is it still enough? Because, take the Bournemouth game. They conceded 21 shots on their goal in 4 games. We had 19. Do you know what I mean? Should we be doing more? Should we be scoring more? We had a better XG, more chances than Spurs. We only score 1. Is that going to be a concern?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's been the concern since, obviously, since we didn't sign that game changer, that number 10 or whoever, or right wing or whatever we were looking at. I think we probably are going to become a little bit too reliant on Okafor. But you look at the job a traditional number 9 used to do. They used to score a lot of goals. They don't tend to do that much anymore. They do bring in your wider players, and you're quite right. We're not going to get that return from Brendan Aronson. Unless you've got somebody like Erling Haaland who puts 90% of his chances away, then you are going to become reliant. And again, from midfield, we saw Snatched take that free kick earlier in the season. Other than Snatched, we're not seeing a lot either coming from the midfield, because we are very, very difficult to beat. But we're not sacrificing the creation of chances. So we are creating the chances. We do just need.
We have opened it up though. Longstaff will score goals, and I think. I wrote this in my match review. I said it feels like Leeds can score in different ways, which we haven't always been able to say. Like chipping around the pitch, I don't think we're relying on one player, which is fine. Longstaff will score. Stack will score a couple, and I think that's quite reassuring. And like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, that he should have scored one of those chances, but this is what we were saying about the luck. A couple of that shot that he took that deflected went straight at the keeper. Spurs had that shot and it went over Darlow's arm into the top corner. That shot could have gone anywhere, and it would have been Calvert-Lewin's goal, but it would have been a big deflection. I think Vicario is a bit of a dodgy keeper, to be honest. But he did a couple of good saves, and at some point we are going to get that bit of luck as well, where we're saying it's a good finish. So I don't think we need to be that worried about it. Joe Rodon isn't going to score loads of goals from set pieces, but how many chances has he had in the last few games where he hit the post in the first few minutes? Yeah. So I'm not worried. Leeds look like they can score from anything, and we've gone 1 goal down in the last 3 matches. And how many? I know it's a different league, but when Leeds do that any other time, you think, well, that's game over. Because it has.
I think you're quite right, Lou. I think we look like we can score, but we're not scoring from everywhere. I think that's my biggest concern at the moment. Is yes, we're creating stuff from all over, and Longstaff has scored a worldie, and Snatched scored that fantastic free kick.
I feel like we're going to be almost one game. Like we scored 3 against Bournemouth, we scored 2 at home against Bournemouth. Like we can't really be asking for more than that. We're not going to get goals
and they're sitting 3rd and 4th in the league, respectively. Yeah. No, I get that, but I think the concern is that out of our front 3, we're not getting enough output apart from even from Okafor. He's missing his chances as well. From the 3 of them, you would expect probably. I know you said we scored 3 against Wolves and 2 against Bournemouth and 1 against Spurs, but is that enough when we're creating far more chances? The return. This league is unforgiving. I know it's very early days, and we've played 3rd and 4th in the league, currently sitting, and we've beaten the team below us and whatnot, but. Are we going to be looking back at this in 15, 20 games time and saying, well, you know what, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin had scored against Spurs and we'd have got picked up a point there and we'd have picked up all 3 against Bournemouth, we'd have been sitting pretty. But actually, we're in a bigger relegation battle. We're sitting in 18th, 19th. And this is all hypothetical. It's all hypothetical, but at this level, we got away with it in the Championship somewhat because we just created far more and we did take our chances. But at this level, it's as the weekend showed. I think their XG was less than 0.5 or 0.6, and they scored 2, and ours was probably double theirs, and we only scored 1. That's the difference.
Yeah, and there's another thing, in certain games. Looking at the situation, especially in the second half, you expect game changes when you're traveling and, trying to come back into the game, But there's no real game changes on the bench right now.
No, that's an issue.
Imagine that we had... Sorry, Lou, didn't...
It was good that he went for it. He made the attacking changes. He did try and go after it with what we had. I think the risk and the gamble will be what then happens if we take Aronson out of it and we try and be a little more attacking. You play Nonto on the wing, we're more vulnerable down that side instantly. We will get more attacking output from Nonto. But, I mean, unless you're going to replace Aronson with Dan James, who will put in the same amount of work, different player, but it's a real risky one. And that's what Aronson brings, is the balance. And I know people will hate it because people don't necessarily want to credit him. And he does a million annoying things in a game, but he also does so much other stuff where he nicks the ball and gets us going and gets us going.
He's been consistent as all in the last 3,
I've sound last 3 games. I think he's probably been one of his better players. I think, outside of Longstaff and Rodon, I think, there's an argument for him to be up there as one of the better performers. The issue is he does just make so many mistakes. There's just so many things a game where it's just like, frustration. But you can't argue with what he's offering us.
He can't shoot and his decision-making is horrendous.
You say he can't shoot. It was his shot that led to the goal.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Well, it was on target.
Though. He does stuff sometimes. He's like, why have you done that? I just think that's the difference between him being like a really good player, it is his decision making. But then I think you can't argue with his defensive contributions. It's like you said, I think we'd be really a lot more exposed if he didn't play.
Perfect for him. He might not like scoring goals and assisting, but Brendan Aronson is perfect for a team that is built around high press and working hard and being defensively solid, because he's just going to run around the entire game pressing. Like, if you were to watch the game back, and he gets through a crazy amount of work. I haven't seen many players like it, and he's not going to get the plaudits, and he's never going to, because even when he was scoring goals and assisting, albeit in the Championship, massive contribution from him, he still didn't get the love, did he? So when is he gonna? He's not gonna in this team. Ever.
No. There is no doubt that he's tireless, and he's been one of the, out of the 3 players that we've seen on the right. Of course, James and Nyonto now they're injured. The best out of the 3 of them has been absolutely Aronson so far in the season. There's no doubt about that. The only problem is that, and it's not down to Aronson necessarily, it's down to the fact that the Premier League is a wingers league, wingers thrive in this league, because in the 1v1 situation, when you have a dribbler, an attacker, a player that can give you sharpness and depth on the other side, especially with the ball switching from one side to the other, we are right now, because of the type of player, not necessarily down to Aronson, not trying to do that. We miss, the opportunity. Like, see Okafor on the goal, he follows the play, gets into the box, from the other side. Aronson, of course, he needs to do something different there, because Afarka wants him to play in a different way, because he's a different player, of course. So it's down to that. But if we had a different player there, the one that we didn't sign on the window, unfortunately, we've been even more sharp, and we will have even more chances down there. But apart from that, I think we're playing very well in terms of balance, in terms of structure. I agree on the fact that Longstaff will score us goals. But probably Tanaka too will play a part this season. I think he's not starting, but I think he will be useful. The problem for me is that I see Arizon. I see, for example, when James and Yonto will come back, the problem is that they will need time to get back to the best shape. I still think also that Okafor is not 100% at his best shape, so we've not seen the best out of him yet.
Yeah.
And he's because of that, he gets tired in the second half. He tends to be more wider, and tends to fade, But in certain places, he's been very useful, The only problem for me is, in order to get the 3 points and the points that we deserve, because even against Tottenham, we deserve at least, we were worth at least 1 point, Against Bournemouth, we deserve the 3 points. Against Fulham, we deserve at least 1 point, In order to get these points, the difference is trying to convert those chances, because like we said, the difference will be there in the long term, because the only goal that we have, some people expect us, after one victory or a run of a game without a loss, to get like mid-table easily, or even Europe. Since some people say, get Europe, but I think we should all remind ourselves. I think it's pretty clear in this panel, but outside of this panel, that the ultimate goal is staying up. And with this squad, we're not up there with the other dogs, in the league, mid-table easily, in terms of quality and squad depth. We don't have much squad depth. That's the difference in terms of game changes. We don't have a creative midfielder like a 10, on the bench right now. We don't have another proper winger. You have Arizon, but I mean out-and-out winger. Arizon is very good in the build-up. It is useful, in that way, but you don't have like the game changer that can change the game like a top winger on the bench. So those chances are absolutely vital. And right now, these are the reasons we are not getting what we deserve, converting the performances from the defense, the midfield, and also the forwards, getting there, but not converting. And that's the difference. We deserve, we deserve, honestly, more points than the one that we have right now. But we have only ourselves to blame, unfortunately.
Boys, I agree. I just want to switch it, because I've just seen something in the comments that did get me thinking. Jack, I'll come to you. I've been a massive fan of him this season. I'm not saying he had a bad game, but Pascal Struijk, obviously, especially for the second goal, I felt that he let Kudus run across him. It was very similar to Gyökeres, and we've seen, I remember Josh Sargent doing it to him in the Championship. Sometimes, for me anyway, and I may be wrong, it's just what I see, it's almost like he backs off and lets these players come across to a position where Kudus is central, where he goes, right, I can now hit it through the bodies, and it ends up going in. And Gyökeres' goal, I mean, it wasn't the same, but very similar, when he just allowed him to come across. I think if that's maybe another defender, they go out and engage. I mean, even for the first, I think Longstaff as well, there were two players around him. He shouldn't have even got that shot off, for me personally, but it is what it is. But I just wanted to, do we think it's time now, when you've spent 15 million on Biol? And listen, I don't think he was great against Sheff Wednesday. I know people told me different, but I didn't think he was great. Where do you stand on now him being used and given an opportunity? Is this the perfect time to do that, or do we just... So am I reacting to one loss and saying, "Oh, let's change it all"? Like, where do you stand?
Well, he's got rinsed a bit, hasn't he, on Twitter for it. He does. He's always done it, and he squares up a little bit. So he'll be like in his face, his back's to his goal. He's not like, if you look at Van Dijk, he spends most of his time running away from centre forward as well, doesn't he? So it happened the other day when totally got his back to him, but at least he's side on. and he can sort of get over to the player or whichever way he goes, whereas Struijk sort of finds himself like a bit stuck. And I do think he is a little bit clumsy in them sorts of situations. But what Struijk, however you say his name, does give you is like tons of strength when balls in air. He's a nightmare for centre forward if it's physical, which Rodon isn't. They're very different, Rodon and Struijk, aren't they? But I think it's a little bit harsh for him to get rinsed once, and it wasn't a rinsing. It's not like he's had a total mare. He's just got caught like he sometimes does, sort of a little bit indecisive. He'd also get chopped up if he comes charging out and he's nowhere near. He's not close enough to engage, is he? And he's not quick enough to get out at that point. So that's why he's stuck. Nobody's more aware than he's stuck. He knows his position's wrong here, but what's he to do? If he goes to the ball, he don't get there in time. The ball either gets moved on or he gets rinsed. He actually gets beat on the ball and then the lad's in on goal, or he thinks, am I better off just trying to get a block when the ball's eventually delivered? So I don't know. I think it'd be a little bit harsh on Pascal when he's as good as he's been, to be honest, because I think he's been mint, and I think him and Rodon both have. And it's always this same thing. Like I know you said 15 million and stuff, Joe, and it does matter the money spent, but it doesn't matter when it comes to getting results and stuff. Because I don't care if be over 30 million. If Farke's happy with Struijk and Rodon at minute, I don't care what's been paid for him. Biol has to come in. We do it a lot where it's like new player.
No, I get it. Yeah,
new player has to start. He's here to start. It's like, well, let's just wait it out. And there will be an opportunity for Biol, I think, a little bit more naturally. And I've said it on your channel before, Joe, but these things work themselves out, don't they? Somebody will pick up a bit of an injury, or Struijk himself likes a bit of an injury, doesn't he? So he'll end up getting his chance anyway. So I don't think, just for one mistake, I just think it's a little bit knee-jerk.
Does anyone disagree? Does anyone think Biol should come in now?
No, I think Jack is spot on.
It's not enough of a mistake, is it? I mean, clearly the plan was Rodon and Biol to be the starting centre-back partnership, but he had that one-game ban, and then Struijk played well. So,
yeah, he has been.
And Farke's doing the right thing. You can't drop him in the same way. And I don't know if this will happen with Darlow. He's playing well. Does Perry come straight back in? But Biol will get his chance, won't he? Like Jack said, Struijk's never going to play the whole season, and we saw a little bit of calamity potentially in Biol as well. So it's not that broken yet, so it doesn't need fixing. You're absolutely right.
I think it's working.
Knee-jerk.
I think it's working pretty well. I think, a big thing is trusting your players. Do you know what I mean? He's had Struijk for all this time. He clearly trusts him as well as that partnership with Rodon. And I think actually if you look at 2 goals, it's easy to go, it's his fault. But there's mistakes between both of them. That first one, it's pretty just like chaotic in midfield. Ball's just running loose.
Also, Mohammed Kudus is going to do that.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable footballer. So that's going to happen completely. And then second one, Goodmanson's
Pascal. Yeah.
So I think he's unlucky to be getting out of stick, to be fair. I don't think the solution is, let's just drop him. I don't think that. We've seen it before. It just don't work like that.
I think, like you said, I think probably he's getting more of a stick because people are aware there's a Biol on the bench who costs 15 million. It's like there's always something better. I agree with you. It's like when we lose and it's a winger's fault. Why didn't we keep Ramazani? We should have kept Joseph. It's always something outside of, or he should be playing Schmidt. And then when he played Schmidt, we realised why he weren't be playing Schmidt. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, we'll have to want to see. Go on, mate. What were you saying?
I think we signed him honestly to be the first centre back out on the bench. Honestly, to be fair, and
do you?
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, because there's only one reason. The different intensity between our league in Italy and the Premier League. Honestly, and you've seen that against Sheffield Wednesday, the first test. And even in international break when Slovenia faced tougher challenge opponents. He will need time to adapt, and I think eventually, like the other said, he will have his opportunity in the end. But I think. I agree with Jacob, for example, because the first one, even what Jack said, first goal, I think Struijk does well in trying to send him on the outside and on the inside tell. Eventually, he sends him on the outside, and that's good, because he's facing the goal. Struijk sends him on the outside. He shoots and he's unlucky, because he bounces on his body and takes Darlow out, And even the second one, he's trying to go towards Kudus, but he doesn't have the time, like Jack said, So eventually he was trying to do the challenge, but Kudus, before he doesn't try to dribble Struijk, he shoots, the ball is deflected and goes. So I think people are being too harsh on Strauka from the comments I've seen online, because honestly, of course, there's another player, of course, 15 million spent on the bench. So people are, and rightly so, curious to see him and see how he will do, because they are wondering, have we spent those money well, or should have we spent those money on that money on another player? Of course, people are curious in that regard. But I remember even before Bournemouth, we were talking about how rock solid was the partnership between Rodon and Strauka, and
true.
Strauka can offer you, a lot in terms of ball carrying, and he's a ball playing defender. Biol is more like Rodon in a certain sense, more physical. He's good technique, but he doesn't have the pace and the agility that Strauka has. So in certain games, I would have liked more, probably like Arsenal, Biol and Rodon. But in other games, I think Strauka is absolutely the starting centre back along with Rodon for me. Absolutely, we should stick with them two.
Fairs.
If he doesn't have the pace that Strike does when knackered, Jesus Christ, he's like a tank.
Make a good point, man. Make a good point. Yeah. What did we make to Pirro's cameo, folks? Did you? I mean, he almost scored, didn't he? It's going to be so difficult for him.
That was a good save as well.
Yeah, it was. That was a good save. You're right. I even seen like his missus do a post like, "Glad to see you back getting minutes," and all that. I was a bit like, "Oh, the poor bastard," because I really like Pirro. Do you know what I mean? Like, but he came on and affected it. But again, you're probably not looking for him to start against Burnley, are you?
I think they both Pirro and Tanaka as subs were noticeably different in terms of delivering what everyone's saying they're not capable of doing, which is why they're not starting. Pirro, particularly, like I remember him winning a header in the middle of the pitch, a flick on, for instance, not being great at that. He held the ball up a couple of times and played off. Physicality, needs to be better at that. The reason why he's third choice. Tanaka holds on to the ball too long, looks a little bit frantic. He was a bit more measured this time when he came on. This is what those players need to do. And if they're going to be difference makers when they come on, they need to be delivering the things that the Premier League needs. And Pirro's going to get those chances, and I still think he'll score a few goals. Maybe he should have buried it, but it was still a pretty good save, and he got the shot on target. So they've definitely got roles to play. They're just not the roles they were used to last season. I'll get excited when Tanaka comes on the pitch because he's so dynamic. He can do so much as a midfielder compared to, say, Gruev, for instance. We'd much rather him coming on the pitch. Yeah, I love Tanaka.
Yeah. See, I think we could see Tanaka start against Burnley.
I don't see why not, but that midfield trio we've got is pretty good.
I don't know. I think Stack's so up and down. 1 minute he's mint, next minute I'm like, what the fuck's he doing?
He's still winning a lot of tackles on Saturday.
I guess he's supposed,
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I would like to. I think I would like to see Tanaka come in just because I think he's good on the ball, man, and gets us ticking over quite nicely. I think Longstaff's he's got to play now. But go on.
I think inevitably than Stack.
Sorry, go on.
I feel like Ampadu had a worse game than Stack this weekend.
Yeah, I agree. I think he was quite sloppy. I think like that first goal was him who loses ball at midfield. He makes a tackle, it just goes loose. No one picks up on ball, and suddenly Kudus is through on goal. Yeah,
what frustrated me a lot as well is we were talking earlier about Harrison coming on and stuff like that. But our crossing was terrible at the weekend. Bogle, Ampadu, Harrison. That we were whipping so many balls, and I know it was windy and it was a lot more difficult conditions than perhaps normal. But we've got really good number 9 in the box, who's capable of scoring headers from anywhere, and our crossing was horrendous into the box. We need to give ourselves a much better chance. You can't expect Longstaff's putting in good balls from set pieces. We need to be doing the same from areas in open play as well.
Can I get your opinion on the it was sort of a revert back to what Farke used to do in the Championship in just throwing all the strikers on. I did like, because when I saw Harrison warming up, and I think it was Pirro, I said, oh, please take off Aronson. because Okafor's still cooking here. And he did that, and I thought, oh, buzzing positive. But then we ended up, and people may disagree with me. I know a few people in the comments disagreed with me when I said this, but I felt that we threw all the strikers on, but then we lose any semblance of control and tactical setup that we then don't have enough of the ball to be able to actually fucking create the chances. I feel like the subs are made, everyone's on the pitch, and then we don't have the fucking ball long enough to be able to make that work. And then the one moment where we did get it into the box, Pirro has the chance that the keeper saves, and it's like, I don't know, I just don't know if that was just like, I commend Farke for doing it, because let's go try and get something, but it only worked once in the Championship and then just didn't and failed. So I don't know if that's tactical acumen or let's just throw all attackers on and up for something. Do you know what I mean? Has anyone got any thoughts, or am I being harsh?
It didn't feel gung-ho, really. We just sort of went 3-4-3, didn't we? And it was frantic for a bit. And I think
what it was.
That's almost the aim, isn't it? To sort of to break it up. And I think perhaps if without those frantic subs and mixing it up, we might not have created those chances. So I don't know. I think you've got to do something different. It didn't feel desperate, I don't think, but I'd rather us, he knew we deserved it, and we were struggling to break him down.
It's damned if he doesn't, Farke,
No,
though,
true.
isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If he doesn't go for it and we still lose the game 2-1, it's why didn't he bring all our attacking options on? And if he does, it's why the hell's he bringing all these attacking options on? It's literally you can't win. I think they were the right changes to make, to be fair.
Yeah, and that was the only thing he could do then, because honestly, if you look at the other players that didn't play, Biol, Bornau, Gruev, and then the Islander from Brittany, still at the club, Melia. But yeah, you have Arizon, Tanaka, because Okafor in the end it was fading in the second half, looked very tired and knackered.
We missed James and Alonso. They would have been. Yeah, they would have been much better options in that situation.
Yeah,
because at one point when Bogle came off, the whole right side was bare, and we had James Justin there, and that was it. Yeah. It'd have been a lot better having James Heron down that wing at that point.
Yeah, because the only winger that we had, Arizon. Usually we have two wingers, two options. So in the end, we needed, and that's the only thing. That's why I said Farke. It was the only thing he could do back then, because he put all the attackers then on the pitch. Pirro, Mecha, but he didn't have the output on the right. So if you look at the heat map in the last 20 minutes, when we had all the attackers in, we had no width basically, and that's why we went for the ball, trying to crowd the area. We weren't lucky, but I don't blame Farke honestly, because he didn't. That was the only option he had to try to change the formation, because like we were saying, okay, he put Arizon in, but again, maybe Okafor's struggling in terms of fitness. You need to change him then. But you have Arizon, on the other side, Aronson, on the other side, maybe struggling to leave a mark or to be as involved as he was maybe in the first half, in the second half. But you don't have a proper a role-for-role replacement on the bench, and that's why you need to try something different, and that was the only solution. Especially, I don't mind that. When you need to try to draw, to equalize, you can try to do that. But maybe if we had more squad depth, we wouldn't be here talking about the fact that he changed the formation because of that specific reason, especially.
That's fair. Right, boys, I just want to pivot slightly before we finish up. Obviously, I know, Luke, you've got to leave a little bit early, aren't you? Going to attempt to play football or something, you said, I think it was. Is that right?
I'll try, mate, yeah.
What's that there? Sorry? Say that again, bro. Say that again. What's that? Hey.
What is that?
That's the Content Creator Cup, mate.
Oh, is it? I'm still yet to see half your team doing any content. Right,
listen, let's talk about the games coming up after the international break, Luke. Right, we've got Burnley, we've got West Ham at home, Brighton and Forest. Looking how Forest are going. I know Brighton away. Listen, if they can beat us, maybe we'll get a point. It's not really that game, it's the other three. If Angie's still at Forest, can win that. There's the West Ham game, yes, different under Nuno, but again, we're at home, and then we've got Burnley away. I just know that if we come back after the international break and don't get a win against Burnley, it's going to be brutal. So, like, I'm so nervous about them next 4, but like a good nervous, because it's like that's what I like football for. But how are you feeling about that? I know it's away yet, but yeah.
Hopefully no injuries.
Yeah, I think if we can continue playing to the same standard, I'm not worried. I think if we can match or better than match Spurs, I don't have any concerns other than sticking the ball in the back of the net. That is my only concern thus far. It was a concern after the first 3 or 4 games, and when we hadn't scored a goal from open play, it's still a concern. Yes, we have scored the odd goals here and there, but that is only the only concern. We're creating enough chances. We're defending. We look compact. We look difficult to beat. The amount of tweets and that I've seen from other clubs that haven't even played us yet that say we look like a nightmare to play against. You know, teams aren't going to enjoy playing against us this season because we don't making it easy for anybody. And it's just unfortunate we haven't had those little bits of cynicism where we do take a chance, where it goes in somebody's arse. Where, if Vicario wasn't the second best player on the pitch the other day, which, by the way, is a shite goalkeeper, he just seemed to have a world day.
It's good, lads. Come on.
No, he's shit, man.
Let me defend my fellow countryman.
He was the second after Kudus. He was the second best player on the pitch for Spurs, certainly. And had he
more than anything,
Yeah, had he not had a worldie game, we could have been sat here celebrating beating them 4-1, 4-2. Do you know what I mean? Because he did make some really important good saves. So no concerns from me, Joe, going into those 4, providing the current levels are the same.
Jack,
I think we need to beat Burnley. I honestly do. I just think there's some games where it's just like, let's stop. I'm big into it. I don't really care. I think we're going to pick up random points off, like say we had beat Tottenham, then we'd probably go get beat to Burnley or draw to Burnley and everybody's frustrated. But you've just got to pick up the points where they come. But there's certain sides. We were better than Burnley last year. We're better than Burnley this year. I know we didn't get points against them last year. No, but you know what I'm saying? We're a better, we're in the Premier League. We're either in the Premier League now. We've got to look at it like that and be like, well, we're the better Premier League team, in my opinion. So you have to pull yourself away from teams like that, I personally think. Honestly, it sounds daft, but anybody below you at the time, I just think you've got to be looking at beating them, regardless what the name is. Do you know what I mean? At any moment, we're enough games in now to have a bit of a grip on like who's even in and out of form. Like Wolves may come good at some point in the season. Who knows? They might actually pick up some points. We beat them when they wasn't good. If we're not, I'm not saying Burnley have started terrible, to be fair, because they haven't. They've been all right, haven't they? But how many have they lost 4 or something in the last 5? They've collapsed a bit.
They're defending well, but not creating when they're just low blocking it out, if that makes sense. Whereas we're defending well, but actually wanting to possess the ball and get.
And I think that's what we can get back on board with that, Joe. That's what I mean. If it were a championship game, you'd think it's going to be a tough game, but every game in Premier League is going to be tough now, isn't it? And we're going to have plenty of ball and stuff against them. They've not really changed, so we can maybe get a little bit back of what we was in championship. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. We've got, for me, it's 3 points. It has to be there. And then the games after that, you just pick up what you can. West Ham, like you say, you don't really know.
We should
beat difficult.
Forest. We should beat West Ham at home.
Yeah. They are rubbish. Yeah. They're still rubbish. They've sacked some manager, got a new manager, and they are still rubbish.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, what would you say? Who's their best player? Bowen. Some of those okay.
Nobody will like this, but they are a big team, though, aren't they? That's my only thing. I do think there's some invested in long-term Premier League sides where you just think, well, anything can happen against teams like that. Do you know what I mean? Like when we played Everton, I know we beat them, they've ended up coming all right, but Everton, at least they are. I know they've been bad for the past few years, but they are a Premier League team. I just think the games can be very random and very individual, can't they? And I feel like West Ham might turn up. Do you know what I mean? It might be one of them where you go, well, yes, but I don't know. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
No, I do, of course.
You have to play.
4 points from them 2 games is a great return, isn't it? Yeah. 6 is amazing. But 4
regardless
from
how
them
they come is my point as well, Joe.
Yeah,
so if you draw to Burnley and beat West Ham, you take that, don't you? So.
100%. 100%.
4 points would be good, honestly. I don't mind people saying, it would be absolutely perfect if we got 6 points out of the next 2 games, but I'll be absolutely fine with 4, honestly. I would like to beat.
I'd take
you know.
4 from 4, to be honest.
Yeah.
3 of them are away games. You know, we're not
Yeah.
going to be getting loads of points in away games. So that's sort of how you got to look at it. Point a game still, you know, until halfway and we've played everyone once and the assessment's different. 4 points from 4 games is good. I know that sounds ridiculous in that there's a couple of losses in there, but everywhere away from home is hard to go, you know.
Yeah. I think
And it don't matter as well. I agree, man. Because this is what I mean about just picking the points up. As long as, for me, I've said at the start of the season, if we don't go like 5 games getting beat, it doesn't really matter. As long as we sort of like just kick, we played well, we got 3 points there, then we got beat pretty bad or whatever, then we drew, and then it's a loss back into a win. Do you know what I mean? Just keep, I'd rather be sort of like on the roller coaster rather than like thinking we're collapsing here or we're on too much of a spike. I sort of enjoying how we're sort of going as it stands. So.
Yeah. Well, we're ahead of it, aren't we? What is it? 7 games played, 8 points. So a point a game currently. For me, I'm just counting down that 10 wins and we need 8. And if we were to get fucking 2 more in this next 4, I'd be like, 6 needed with this long left. We're going to be sound, you know what I mean? But quiet the road and I think the Dingles win, says Return of the Jedi. Is that what we are? The Dingles? Begsy not be Sam. Begsy not be Sam. Andre, you can take Sam Dingle. Do you know about Sam Dingle?
I only know about the Isle of Dingle in Ireland. I don't know what you're talking about.
You be Sam then. You've got to look
Dingle
at Zach.
Peninsula.
He's got to look at Zach, hasn't he? Big Lou's got to look at Zach Dingle, to be fair.
Isn't he dead now?
That's why I said it.
Oh, right. It used to be a compliment, that.
I'm only joking. Jacob, how you feeling ahead of these, bro?
Yeah, similar to Lou, actually. I think we have to be realistic. It's great, performances. We've looked great. But actually, if you just keep ticking points over and it comes to that Forest game and we've got 4 points, you might be frustrated, but you'll still be where you want to be in terms of points. I do think Burnley is a game you've sort of got to be winning. I think West Ham, you can at Elland Road on a Friday night. It's a game where you go, actually, we can have them. I think Brighton's one which you almost write off from start. I don't remember us ever winning at Brighton in May. I feel like we were always just awful there. And Forest,
it's Craig McHale-Smith days, even, wasn't it?
Just like, and we won't win there. I doubt it. And then Forest, it gives them enough time to sort of come good. I know that they've been absolutely abysmal since sacking the gaffer, but
they still have a good squad, don't they?
Yeah, they've got a great squad, and it'll just be our luck that they win the next 3 games, and we play like form team at league, right? So beat Burnley, put a decent performance in against West Ham, and then see where you're at. But 4 points from 4, I'd take that. Be happy.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. Come on then, let's get some points returns actually from them next 4. Jack, we'll start with you, buddy. From them next 4, what kind of points return do Leeds United get?
We convinced me with West Ham now, so I'm going to go 6. I think we'll win the next 2, and then I think we'll probably get beat a couple of times, to be honest.
Yeah, so from the 4, 2
6.
wins.
Yeah.
6 points, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm going to say we get
12.
7. 2 wins and a draw. Lou?
I think 4 points, but we're going to get a draw away at Burnley. We'll beat West Ham at Elland Road and then lose to Forest and Brighton away.
Fairs. Luke?
5 for me. I think we beat Burnley, draw with West Ham, and lose to Brighton and draw with Forest.
Nice. Andrea?
I think we beat Burnley, West Ham, draw, Brighton, I think lose, and Forest maybe a draw.
So the same as me then.
Yeah, same.
Is that
been a bit easier, wasn't it?
I was trying to catch up with maths in my head. Then
because I had understood we were giving our prediction about the next 2, so he got me off guard.
That's my bad. What about you, Jacob?
I'm off 6. I think I think Burnley will actually be one at toughest because they're going to make it proper horrible for us, and we're historically not good at breaking those teams down. But I do think we'll beat them, and I think we'll get a result against West Ham as well. I have no reason to doubt us at Elland Road this season, and they don't look good at all. So I think we'll win that game.
Yeah, man, I love that. You know, like I've said, and I'll still say it, especially after the way we played against Spurs, who are unbeaten in 7. They're good away from home. I'm genuinely not concerned about any team really away from home. I'm just sorry, at home. So I'm just not. Liverpool, whoever, fucking bring them all on, man. We'll be sound at home, I think. Yeah. Anyway, I think we'll leave it there. I don't think there's anything else anyone wants to. Does anyone want to touch on it?
Unless you've got an hour to talk about the referee, but nobody wants that, do they?
Oh,
No. Well, talk about it, Lou, before we finish.
I just think so far this season, I feel like VAR and things like that have been like less of a conversation and bad refereeing, certainly from our perspective this season. We've been talking about the performances. All the streams and all the content I've seen has not been about that. I don't necessarily want to tarnish your show by now talking about referees, but
No,
he was absolutely horrendous and so inconsistent, massively played into their hands. I've seen a lot of Spurs fans say that he was terrible for both teams. I don't think that's true. I think when they went 2-1 up, I think he let them see out the game almost with the ridiculous injuries. We didn't help ourselves by throwing things onto the pitch, but Vicario, what happened to this 8-second rule where, the goalkeeper holds on to the ball for that long and he's going to get a booking? He was just completely spineless, and it just played into their hands. I know it when you're at the game, at Elland Road particularly, we do the ironic cheers when he actually gives us a foul and stuff, and that's sort of part of it. And you can get sucked into the referee, feeling like the referee's rubbish every single game. But I think particularly in this game, he didn't help us. We didn't help ourselves perhaps with chances, but the referee was shocking, like really, really bad.
Yeah. Can we talk? Actually, you just reminded me there. What about that bottle that got thrown at Kudus, by the way? I swear, man.
I thought it was like a massive vape.
No, I think it was a bottle, man.
Was it?
I thought it took his head off, man. I was like, what are we doing, man?
It weren't far away, was it?
No, not at all, man. It wasn't great. It wasn't great, man. Yeah. Porro was all right. I think someone threw a thing at Porro, but he sort of like laughed it off and it helped a little bit. But yeah.
Well, yeah, it helped him waste more time. He wanted that.
Yeah, true. That's a good point. But yeah, it was a little bit spooky that. Right, folks, I think we will leave it there. I have put a redirect on just because YouTube and the algorithms and all that. So you'll be going over to Saeed's channel. I want you to put in the comments all leads our way. And then JUSTJOE raid, yeah, for them Man United fans. Are they below us in table still? I think they are they? No?
No, I don't think so.
No, they're not.
Bastard.
Just put hammering in till January 3rd, and then we can put the final nail in the coffin. Big love to Jack City. Jack, have you got going on during the international break show on Thursday?
Yeah, I'll just be doing a few videos through the week, Joe, and then, go live on Thursday night. So, yeah, man.
Good. Lou, are you doing the... You don't? No, they don't do it anymore, do they? LS11 and all that.
No, it's finished now. So if anyone wants me to come on as a guest freelancer, then it stops me from changing nappies. So
yeah,
available.
Jack does a show on a Thursday. Link him up, man. Link him up. Andrea, you'll be doing your podcast this week with Lockie.
Yeah, on Thursday coming out as always. Apart from last week, because Lockie was sick, so we skipped that one.
Well, when you speak to him, tell him to reply to my texts, please. Ignorant dick. If you're watching,
I'm your lawyer now.
I think I must have upset him, Anna.
I don't think so.
No, he's poorly and he's poorly. If he isn't, fucking reply.
No, he's working. He's working a lot. He's working a lot.
Yeah, no, he is. He's a hard worker. I'll get a reply after that, though, so it's all good.
Surely.
Jacob, you didn't get the fucking BT gig, did you? The TNT, it went to...
Nah, so obviously you sent us that message. I didn't get that BT gig. It had been for, so fair play. But then that Ellis lads messaged me saying, you want to go on Sky? I'm like, yeah, class, I'll do that after the game. And I was like waiting up, like refreshing my emails come through and not come through. And then at 7:30, he messaged me saying, "Oh, why have you missed it?" I'm like, "Well, I didn't. There was no way for me to do it, so just gave a little grovel a bit, said sorry, but hopefully next time we'll see."
That's not your fault though, because they did that to me. Do you remember? They sent it me and said you're on at 7:30, and then when I got there, they went, "Joe, why are you here?" And I went, "I was told 7:30." They went, oh no, you missed your slot. And they'd said it were 6:30. I went, no,
Yeah.
you told me 7:30. And then they got me on
Yeah.
anyway. But like, come on,
Yeah,
man.
so I think it's just a technical fault.
Skipping you, mate.
It's because we're Leeds. It's because we're Leeds. We need to stay in the division a little bit longer, and then we'll be taken more seriously. I think they see us as a fleeting thing.
No, I was saying, man. I was saying, you have a problem with people replying to you recently.
Yeah, well, maybe
I'm
I'm
joking,
the
of
problem,
course.
bro. I think I'm the problem.
I'm joking, of course. You know that.
Yeah, man, of course. Listen, folks, thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm meeting up with Martin tomorrow and Jonathan coming up from Leeds way. We're going to have go for a walk and a bit of coffee and that. So there'll be a video because we're going to chat Leeds. We'll find a bench somewhere and just chat Leeds. We did one before with Martin and it went down well. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. So look out for that vid. Thanks everyone for tuning in and enjoy your evening. And before we go, I do have a super chat. Hi everyone, what are your thoughts on the new signings? I'm personally really pleased with them. Okafor and Stack have been brilliant, especially Stack. Can't disagree with you, mate. I think, yeah, they've all been great. Goodmanson as well, bar a few little errors. But yeah, all good, man. Thank you for your super chat. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you in a bit. Peace out. Bye-bye.